So Mashin Sentai Kiramager episode 5 has officially come out today. I am going to be giving you my full review on what happened in today's episode. And I'm going to be giving you guys a reason, if you have not seen this episode, why you should watch this episode since you know the quarantine thing is going around. And I want to know in the comment section down below, what did you guys think of today's episode? Hello Internet, it is Andrew Michael and welcome to this week's Mashin Sentai Kiramager episode review, where we go through the episode that airs and we run through it and I give you my overall opinions on this episode. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you don't miss a single video. So this whole episode was pretty much a character focus episode where we got the focus on Tamatomo, who is the Kiramei Yellow. We start off at the video game tournament where Tamatomo is a video game player and they go and have their little tournament set up and whatnot, and we see the other Kiramagers cheering him on as well. Meanwhile, at the base, we see the Yellowstone, aka Shovelly is what they called it, I believe. Basically, the Yellowstone is trying to be the hype man for the Kiramei Yellow Ranger, and the whole plot is Kiramei Yellowstone believes that Tamatomo should be the leader instead of Juuru. Shigeru and Seiyo are also at the base with Hakata, and they find 3 new stones that are on Earth. No, it's not a meteor like we've seen with Jurassic Park. It's actually 3 stones that have come from Crystalia. And even Mabushina, who is the princess, also says these 3 stones are also young since they just landed, and since they're at 10% growth, we have no idea if they will turn into machines. Spoiler alert, they do. And so we see the Kiramagers fighting off a joystick monster, and guess what this monster does? That's right, he controls things, and by controlling them, what he does is he locks onto his target and he uses his joystick on top of his head to move it around. With the first fight we see with the Rangers, they morph up and the joystick monster controls the Blue Ranger. The Kiramei Blue, also Shigeru, goes and fights off the other Rangers, but not on his own control, but because he's being controlled by the joystick monster. So then the Yellow Ranger comes up with a plan to at least attempt to destroy the monster of the week. The Rangers do this, and then the Kiramei Yellow shoots his disc into the joystick, and so the monster runs off. And this basically adds fuel to the fire for Shovelly, saying, hey, the Kiramei Yellow, also Tamatomo, should really be the leader, and Juuru should not be the leader, and this is what it focuses on. Then we see that the Yellow Excavator wants to go check out these new stones, and so he enlists the help of Juuru, who is the red Kiramei Ranger, and so we see them secretly go off, even though Shigeru and Seiyo both hear that Juuru goes off secretly to go find these 3 stones. I do like the fact that what they were doing here at this point was, at first I thought, ooh, are we getting a tease for a new Ranger? What they did differently with this season already is that they're showing these stones don't necessarily have to have a partner to go with them. And so instead of, coming up with new people to become Rangers for each stone, what we'll see is that these stones have their own personality. And so these stones don't necessarily have to be linked with someone. Therefore, we don't have to have all these excess amount of Rangers. We can then get this many stones because they have their own personality. So then we go to the site where the excavator is, and we see Juuru coming up with the sketch to enliven the 3 new stones, and Shigeru and Seiyo are not fast enough to stop him, and so the 3 stones are given their personality thanks to Juuru. Probably the highlight of the character, where we see Tamatomo at the tournament. By the way, he used the PS4 controllers. Nice. And also he went, and guess what game they were playing for the tournament? Monster Hunter. Nice. And so we see that the yellow and the green Kiramagers, also known as Tamatomo, and are still at the tournament after it's over. And Tamatomo goes into this story where, as a kid, him and his grandfather had played video games together. But one time his grandfather got Tamatomo as a kid, he got him the wrong video game. And because of this, Tamatomo said he ultimately hated his grandfather for doing this. And because of this, what led up to is his grandfather had a heart attack and died that same day. And ultimately it scarred Tamatomo, and he doesn't want to tell Shovelly that it's okay for Juuru to be the leader, even though Yellow is always trying to be the leader. And so I felt that was a lot of storytelling with that, and it was kind of a dark-ish way of basically adding some more storytelling to this. Like, I was not really expecting it to get that deep, honestly. Like, it's one of those things where you tell someone a joke and then all of a sudden it just gets deep all of a sudden. It's like, wow, that was totally unexpectedly deep, you know. And then we go back to the base where Kiramei Red then finds the Yellowstone, and they find this. And so the Kiramagers then come up with a way to take on the monsters. Before this, we go to the base and we see that they Sentai is teased, even though really it's a joke, because really the Sentai is the 3 new stones. We also see the yellow Kiramei stone and the Kirameiger Yellow Ranger forming the Tamatomo Sentai Tame Lovers. If that were to ever become a spin-off, like, think about it like this. If we ever got a special where it was just 2 episodes of the 3 stones, the Yellowstone and Tamatomo as the own team, I would watch that, even though I think it'd be really funny. I would just think that would just be incredible if we saw that for an episode or 2. Just why not? I mean, we're all in quarantine. What else are we gonna do? Anyways, the Kiramagers then see the monster is there again, and so it's morphin time again for the Kiramagers, except this time the monster battle goes differently. What happens is that Juuru willingly gives himself up to be controlled, and then Juuru goes to fight off the other 4 Rangers. Meanwhile, the stone is then impressed by the way that instead of Juuru attacking everybody, eventually he gets control of himself and fights off the control of the joystick monster. And so Juuru then goes and fights off the minions of the week. And so then the Chevalier, which is the Kiramei Yellow stone, then says, wow, Juuru, the Red Ranger, he really is capable of being a leader. And so what we then see is that the 5 Rangers then come together, and then this is where we find out that Tamatomo has planned this so that way he can convince the Yellow Stone that it is okay for the Juuru to be the Red Ranger, and it's okay that the Yellow Ranger is not really meant to be the leader. And so then the monster's like, hey, get off of me, I'm not a toy or whatnot. So then the 5 Rangers then come together and take out the monster of the week. Then we get into the Mecha Battle of the Week, where the evil guys, God, I forgot their names. How did I forget their names? Anyways, we see them and they bring in this big monster of the week to take on the Rangers. And so this is where we see the Kiramazan come in. The monster for the big mecha battle of the week is controlled where he goes left and right, up and down, and he picks up stuff and he throws it at the Kiramagers. And then this ultimately throws off, literally throws off and throws down the Kiramagers, and they're stuck between a bridge. Then we see the 3 stones go off on themselves to then become these machines that go off to take on the monster. And then we see Juuru come up with a plan to bring the 3 stones as weapons. So he comes up with a way to make them a shield, a roller, and I believe the last one, I forget, it was a fork, I believe. So they use those 3 new stones as weapons, and they fight off the big monster of the week. I honestly thought that was really cool the way they did this, because what they did is at first they said, now these stones are really young and they're only at 10%, so there's no way they would be ready to take on the monsters. But what they proved is that instead of them being, fully matured into machines, they were able to be used as weapons and still take out the monster of the week. And I thought that was really cool, honestly. Like, the way they did this with the stones and the way they did this with this character episode, instead of it just being, we focus on one ranger, he gets the most of the focus. Instead, what it does is that the ranger, gets the focus. But then everyone as a team, the Kiramagers as a whole, were able to develop with this as well, since they're all still learning. So I really just like the fact that instead of this just being, the Yellow Ranger goes does his own thing, and then the team is just like their normal selves. Instead, we see that the team is adapting to how they can all be special and sparkling in their own way. And I really like what they did with this episode. Overall, I would say this was an incredible episode. And if you have not watched this episode and you're looking for stuff to watch while the quarantine and the virus thing is going on, I would definitely say this is an episode you need to watch, because it not only does it progress to what we might be seeing later on, but what it sees is that we got a character development episode, but it really didn't feel like a filler. What it felt like was we got the Yellow Ranger, or I guess the Kiramei Yellow Ranger, oh god, the Kiramei Yellow going in and having the focus, but also the team also learning from this as well. Now, there were a couple of plot holes as well. One we saw where we thought the stones weren't ready to be used for fighting. And so, because of that, I'm going to knock it down, but I'm only going to put it at a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I thought this was a great episode. And like I said, if you have not seen this episode and you're looking for something to watch, I highly recommend this. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review. Comment down below, what do you guys think of today's episode? And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end. And until next time, I'm Andrew Michael, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mashin Sentai Kirameiger!